Rockstar Games' parent company Take-Two Interactive has won its copyright infringement lawsuit against Johnny Perez, the developer behind the Grand Theft Auto V: Elusive. This is not the first time Take-Two has enacted legal action against creators or modding tools that give players an unfair advantage, allowing access to restricted features in the online mode, or Grand Theft Auto V, as reported by Torrent Freak. A federal court ordered Perez to pay Take-Two $150,000 in damages, and is forbidden from creating or distributing any cheats based on or modifying Take-Two's games. The company filed a case against Perez last August, accusing him of copyright infringement by creating and distributing Elusive, which could give players infinite in-game money, break API, etc. The cheat was previously sold online ranging from $10 to $30, depending on the package. Take-Two reportedly argued that this damages warranted because the cheating activity resulted in severe losses estimated by the company to be around $500. For those interested, a copy of the order granting Take-Two's default judgment against Perez can be accessed here. The 2019 Game Developers Conference will feature an exhibition titled GDCDEDICATEDTOGAMES that uses alternative control schemes and interactions. Gamasutra will be talking to the developers of each of the games that have been selected for the showcase. He'll countless players playing with seating arrangements, performing the sacred but ritual, in order to free a demon from a couch. Through a shuffling where they sit with a friend or stranger, they can complete the ritual, and maybe learn a little bit about personal space and breaking down barriers. Gamasutra spoke with Carol Mertz and Francesca Carletolane about the challenges of turning a couch into an input device, how they look to bring a little silliness out of strangers, and how they designed their game to look into feelings of comfort around strangers and the deep thoughts we often put into where we sit down in public. With our Carol Mertz and Francesca Carletolane, we collaborated on everything for Help Out, including game design, software development, hardware fabrication, and audio design. Help Out is the first ever couch cooperative game, where the couch is the controller. You have to team up with a friend or friends to perform the sacred but ritual to release a demon trapped inside of the couch. Players follow the demon's instructions, moving their butts from cushion to cushion, to successfully exercise the couch. Carol sat down one day and made a list of theme ideas that we could apply to couch-centric gameplay, and as soon as she wrote down the word "help out," she decided that it was the design hill to die on. She could be heard screaming "help out" over and over for an entire week, and Francesca could not say no to that level of enthusiasm. Our core design values going into the project were to make something cooperative that was fun to both play and watch, and that really embraced the couch as an input medium. We worked on the project under Bennett Foddy's advisement at the New Game Center, where he pointed us toward other projects that play with spatial negotiation. Copenhagen Game Collectives BUTTON and sitting as gameplay, being both guru meditation. After reflecting on these projects and the ways that people interact with couches both in their own homes and in public spaces, we started thinking about simple interactions that could translate to fun gameplay. Sitting and negotiating space with friends and strangers is actually a really interesting design space. So we designed a simple game that makes people compromise on where, how, and when to sit. turns out that when a bunch of folks are bouncing on a cheap couch, it breaks. We have had to reinforce our couch quite a bit to make sure that it can support regular gameplay. On top of that, we have to consider how and where it will be positioned, how and where people will sit on the cushions, and how we can support accessible gameplay for diverse bodies. It's also heavy, and we have had to move it a lot, which was definitely not the most fun part of development. Working with large furniture is a huge challenge. Folks do not tend to sit close to each other on couches, unless it's the only space available. Of course, if they are cuddle buddies. So the idea that players have to sit next to each other and bounce back and forth between close and more comfortable distances forces players to acknowledge and negotiate each other's physical presence. It's interesting seeing how some folks avoid sitting close to other people at all costs, and how others have absolutely no issue with sitting near their friends. We both feel strongly about the power of play as a tool to encourage vulnerability and connection. While Hellcat does not necessarily seem like an intimate game on the surface, it does make for an interesting space for physical collaboration, which can lead to unexpected moments. We are really happy with the emergent player behavior we have seen in all of our playtests. It's a challenge. At first glance, Hellcat is designed to look like just a regular couch, so players do not necessarily enter into it with the expectation of being silly and letting their guard down. We did not design an attract mode, and were careful to keep any indication of it being a possessed couch hidden until someone sits down. As soon as a butt hits a cushion, though, players are met with a loud thunderclap, demonic cackling, and a fiery array of lights. And when the game starts, solo sitters have to face the fact that they are not going to be able to play alone, so they need to figure out how to get another butt up in the game. This theme and sound design are meant to set the stage for humor and joyful play. The first guidance players get is a disembodied demonic voice, declaring that they need to perform the sacred bat ritual, which often makes players giggle or raise an eyebrow. The game only takes about 19 seconds to play, but often by the end folks get very comfortable embracing their role as a goofy demon liberator. We are both graduating this May with a Master in Fine Arts degree in Game Design from the New Game Center, so we have spent the last 2 years creating lots of games. Carol's background before New is in multidisciplinary interactive design, and has published a card game, several digital vignette games, and was the narrative designer and character artist a PS4 PC games Minecraft. Francesca's background is in 3D art and digital game design, and is the 3D artist and narrative designer of the upcoming PC games Across. We have both dabbled a bit in experimental hardware design, but this is our first major alternative controller project. We used Arduino and Unity, and bridged the two with the Arduino plugin. The physical components are actually pretty simple beyond the couch itself. We are using LED lights and homemade pressure sensors. As cumbersome as the couches, we wanted to make sure that the components were simple and portable, so that we could easily rebuild it for on-location installations. Unique controllers do a lot for games. They question the status quo and open up an exciting space for game design. Alternative controllers can encourage joyful and uninhibited play, giving players a chance to fully embody their role in the game. They can produce unique situations that bring people together, forge new connections, introduce new ideas, and inspire new ways of playing. The couch was a fun place to explore all of these ideas. It gives a not more traditional couch co-op games while subverting expectations by turning a mundane object into a completely new way to play with others. Hey game makers, Double Fine on DM8-bit, as popular indie game showcase day of the Death Returns TOGDC this year, and organizers are now accepting submissions from devs who want their games to be a part of it. This fun DD-sponsored showcase, which is returning for the 7th consecutive year, brings players and developers together for a celebration of some of the year's biggest indie hits. DD attendees will be able to stop by the day of the Death Interactive space at the Moscone Convention Center in San Francisco throughout DD Week, March 18th through the 22nd, to check out the games, chat with the folks that made them, and just generally chill and have a nice time. If you do like your game to be a part of that, make sure to submit it via this form ASAP. Organizers say they are hoping to finalize a list of games in the showcase by early February.